How are you today? Seriously, how are you? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you feeling like life is a roller coaster ride? Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple different little things. First, we're going to talk about the lunar eclipse that's happening tonight because this is an extra special thing and it might just help explain a few things going on in your home right now. Two, we're going to talk about being selfish. How many of you have ever been told that you're being selfish because you helped yourself before helping everybody else? I have my own definition of what being selfish is. This is something that is brand new into my life that I've discovered over the recent years. And I want to let you in on this because it is possible that your idea of what being selfish is as a bad thing is actually holding you back from being successful and going after those dreams that you have always wanted to follow. Okay? I know. Crazy, right? Right? Two sides to every story, my dear. That's where that comes into play. Okay. So, seriously, back to my first question. How are you? So, at any point in time, if any of this resonates with you, please make sure you hit the like button down below. Make sure you love this video and make sure you drop your comments and your questions down below and I will happily get back with you on all of them if I don't happen to catch them during the live, because if you're catching this as a replay, my dear, yeah, I know most of you are working right now. All right, so today's Thursday, which means it's our bread Thursday, and I'm doing my best to get back into our live schedule. All right, my dears. So every Wednesday, I will be doing live jewelry builds for the next little while. And every Thursday, we've got a bread-inspired class, okay? So although this particular mindset is for my bread bakers, it's not just for my bakers. This is a mindset lesson and class and something for you to just brew around inside your head for really all of y'all's, okay? Seriously, if you have a dream and you're not following it yet, pay attention. Because it is possible that you're actually hurting yourself because you're not following that dream, honey. And let's talk about it. First, let's talk about the chaos. The chaos that is happening in our homes right now. Do you have this happening at your place? Do you? Are your kids running completely amok? I mean, it's just constant go, 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 go energy. And like everybody's being a little extra naughty. They're being a little extra loud. Like your patience is way up here or your temper is just like, I mean, it's just all over the place. You can't seem to make heads nor tails of all the things happening right now. Can you relate? Maybe you've got animals like I do, and they're just berserk. I mean, they are running like Hades, right? Okay, so we have a lunar eclipse happening today. So if you're into the spiritual realms, you already know this for the most part, all right? Now, I'm going to be straight up and honest with you. I'm not an astrology, like, studier of the stars and the effects of the heavens and all of the fun things that happen. I find it fascinating. But that's not my area of expertise. However, I love lunar. I love moon magic. It's so beautiful. All right, so regardless of where your stance is on that, okay, bear with me and let me shed a little light on you on how the moon actually affects us. Okay, so we have a new moon. First, second, we have a lunar eclipse happening. So A new moon, which means it's all black outside, has a way of dampening our spirits because it's so dark. Okay, the light plays an effect on our mental and emotional psyche. Okay, it does. Scientifically, look it up. Okay, exact opposite. As an example, the full moon. Do you want to know when the highest crime rate happens? It's during a full moon. In fact, most officers I've ever talked with, when it comes to full moon having to work a full moon shift, they hate it because everybody's kind of just gone bonkers. I mean, everybody's just out being naughty because of all that light, all that extra light. It messes with us, okay? That's the scientific stuff. All right. Now, let's talk about a lunar eclipse. So every time you have a lunar eclipse, it has a tendency, get my tongue working. It has a tendency to make a shift in our lives, okay? So the moon has a direct pull on us, okay? Now, I'm talking about science right now, okay? So regardless if you're spiritual or you love the facts, you love the science, or you're just like, oh, I just love the moon. It's so pretty and it just makes me feel so good. All right. The moon affects our bodies just like it affects the ocean. Our bodies are made up of what? 90-something% water? So if it affects the tides, guess what? It affects us too. So as the moon is going around in its non-circle orbit, it has greater pulls on us from time to time. And when those different pulls are happening, it really affects us. It pulls us in all sorts of directions, all right? It kind of makes us feel like we're on a roller coaster ride on an emotional level and sometimes with our own mind, as you can't quite seem to keep everything straight because everything is just moving so fast. I mean, you're up and you're down, all right? Have you seen this happening? Seriously, drop it down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Okay. We've got the lunar eclipse happening. So as this happens, we're going to have a shift, okay? So all the chaos that you've been experiencing, especially this week has been nuts. As those energy levels, those gravitational pulls on us have just been extreme, honey, okay? They've been extreme. All right? They're going to start to mellow out. They're going to make like a complete reversal. This is a beautiful time, my friend, to start manifesting what you want this year, okay? Manifest what it is that you want with intention. So careful with your choices. I will always tell you to be careful with what you want to manifest, honey. But when you, with intention, begin to manifest what it is you want, put it out there to the universe. Send it to the universe. You don't even have to say it out loud. You don't have to put it in the chat if you don't want to. What is it that you want to manifest? What do you want to change in your life? Okay? Maybe for my bread bakers, you want to actually get in the kitchen and get baking. Yeah. You want to start baking that beautiful, delicious homemade bread. You want to plunge your hands into that gooey, soft dough, and you want to just pour your heart and soul into it and just watch it raise. You want to see it come to life, because making bread is just like creating life, because bread is a living thing. You're putting yeast into it. I teach yeast breads most of the time. Yeast is a living thing. All of your ingredients are living things or come from a living thing, okay? And you start with nothing. An empty bowl. Slowly add a little bit of this, a little bit of flour, a little bit of yeast, maybe a little bit of sugar, maybe some additional little grains over here. Maybe we'll throw a little bit of flaxseed or some oatmeal in. Maybe we'll make a white bread, or maybe we'll make a little bit of both white and wheat. Mix it all together and make a beautiful half wheat. If you want one of my free recipes, jump up into my bio and grab one, okay? I've got 2 free recipes available for you right here, right now, that you can grab. One is our whole wheat oatmeal bread, and the other one is our half wheat multigrain buttermilk bread. And they are both absolutely delicious. If you want to learn how to make them, swing over to my YouTube channel and you can catch all of our latest bread baking trainings. Okay, and I'll walk you through step by step on how to make them. Okay, all right. So I want you to start finding that success that you're wanting in the kitchen, my dear. Start manifesting, honey. Manifest what it is in your life that would bring you a little bit more peace, a little bit more comfort, a little more love, a little more self-acceptance, compassion. Think about it. If you were to start putting yourself forward first in all of it, what it is that you feel right here in your heart, like I always talk about listening to your heart and actually doing what it tells you. And it's telling you that you should follow this dream. But inside your head, you're going, I can't do that because every time I try, so-and-so comes in and they always need me to go do something. They always need me to take care of that. I've got so many sticks in the fire with everybody else that I have no more time for me. Honey, I hear you. I do. I've been there. I've been there. Absolutely. I've been right there with you. In fact, it used to be that I had this idea in my head that if it didn't matter what I was doing, whether it was something for myself or whatnot, especially if it was for myself, if I was working on one of my own personal projects, something just for me that I just enjoyed doing, or I just really wanted this, I needed to have this. If someone in my family, especially my husband or one of my children, came in, they're like, hey, Mom, I need this. I would drop what I was doing and I would head out the door and go take care of whatever it was that they wanted me to do. Because I was raised to always put others' needs ahead of my own needs. Now, pay attention to the phrasing of that. Put others' needs before your own needs. Do you hear what's wrong there? I didn't for a long time. I didn't. And I was raised this way. Now, this is a double-edged sword, okay? This particular teaching with how I was raised and the way my local community truly teaches, and for the most part they all preach it, that they all practice it too. However, there's a problem with that. Now, there's equal goodness in there. It is a good thing to put others' needs ahead of your own wants. Okay? That is a good thing. All right? Someone needs something. A need is not a want, and a want is not a need. Okay? There is a very distinct difference between those two. A need is something you need. Like, this is something you have to have. It's essential in your life, okay? A want can sometimes be a passing, fleeting moment of, oh, I like that. All right? A want is just something that you would like to have, but you don't necessarily need it, okay? However, in my case, I took this old teaching of the way I was raised to an extreme. And I've seen this time and time and time again, especially among my female home bakers. Okay? Yes, I said females. Okay? Women in particular have a problem with this. especially women from my generation and before. So I'm just about to turn 40, y'all. And to be honest, I was raised in an old-fashioned, traditional community out here. So even though technically I'm a millennial, I actually relate as a Gen X. So that might kind of help put things into a little perspective. My words, I tell you, they've completely escaped me. This whole lunar eclipse thingy, I tell you, like, my words are like blah, blah, blah. That's okay. Oh, that was really hot. It's hot. Hot coffee. Hot. A little hotter than I remembered it. Whew, well, it's warming up. Okay. So, as a woman from my area, from my age range, and being a little bit old-fashioned to begin with, I'm kind of an old soul. So when I don't know why I phrased it that way. Anyway, so I was raised in a very male-dominant kind of society. But at the same time, the society is extremely equal rights at the same time. So it's kind of strange. But it's that old traditional state that, you know, it's a man's job to take care of everything. And it's a woman's job to be supportive and submissive. To look pretty, but not be heard. Okay? So, on the other side of this amazing society that I've grown up in, the community that I come from, you've got cowgirls. Now, cowgirl gives it to you straight. Blunt, hard truth. And they are, okay, they have this amazing sense of humor, okay? But they are not ones to be crossed. If you cross a cowgirl, I mean like an actual cowgirl, they're hard-working women, and they will just instantly just put you in your place. If something is wrong, it doesn't matter if they know you or not. If you do something, they're going to step up there and go, hey, knock it off. That's not right. That's not okay. You don't do that. And I'll tell you what, they're really gruff. They are blunt honesty. You cross the lines. And I love that. And I always admired that because I was not raised like that. I always admired that because I always wanted to have the courage to be able to stand up and speak. Just to speak. I was terrified to do it because I was supposed to be submissive and quiet. I was supposed to just blindly follow where I was told to go. You know, just take everything on faith. You know, the answers will come. Okay, now I'm not mocking, just in case. I want to make that very, very clear. I'm not mocking, all right? That's how I was raised. Now, there's an extreme side to that, okay? And if you can relate to these points, please let me know. All right. So, I was raised to never be selfish, to always put others' needs ahead of my own. So the good side of that is it brings the community together. It keeps everybody in line. Nobody causes problems. And everybody's happy as can be. Right? Right? Everybody's happy. Okay. So when you have that, that is a good thing. Flip it over on the other side. Always put other needs ahead of your own. That means you're never taking care of yourself. Okay? By means of actually standing your ground, say maybe you're making your bread, you've got your hand, you're just getting ready to get your hands in the dough and all the things, and someone walks in and they go, hey, I need you. Are you going to drop what you're doing, or are you going to finish what you're doing, then go help? Drop what you're doing and go right then, just because they say they beck and called, or are you going to finish what you're doing, and then go do it. Yeah? Now that might seem like a simple answer to some of you. But for others, especially those that were like me, that's not a simple answer. And it took me a very long time to be able to stand on my own feet and say, you're going to have to wait. So it's like my kids' favorite book. So my two little girls, Clara and Ellie. Clara's 4 and Ellie's 3 now. She just turned 3. And their favorite book is Llama Llama Red Pajama. And it's by Anne Dewini, if memory serves right. I don't actually have the book right in front of me. I think it's Anne Dewini that writes that particular one. I apologize if I've got the authors mixed up with one of their other favorite books. Okay, so Llama Llama Red Pajama. The Llama Llama series is great, okay, for kids. My kids love it. My little kids love it. And they're a fun book to read as an adult, too, okay? That's important. That's important. All right, so in Llama Llama Red Pajama, the little llama baby, he goes to bed, mom tucks him in, and then she goes downstairs to take care of the dishes, and she's on the phone, all these things. He decides he wants a drink of water, so he calls down to his mom. She's like, in a minute. And then he sits there and waits, but mama's not coming. Okay, so then his little overactive mind, goes all over the place. From, oh no, is mama, gone? Is she never coming back? Or, and he just starts fretting about it, okay? Blows it up into this great big deal. And so then pretty soon he starts throwing a big old tantrum. He's stomping, he's jumping, he's and he's just throwing a fit. He's throwing stuff all over the place, and then he starts screaming. He's, Mama! Kids love that part. So mom, as a mom, I can relate. My kid starts screaming like crazy. I think there's something wrong. So she throws her cups down, she throws the phone down, the whole works, and she's running up the stairs to him. And then she comes in, she just realizes he's throwing a tantrum. Now this mama llama is a lot more patient than I am sometimes. A little more understanding in the moment. Okay, keep it over there, please. And she goes, baby llama, sometimes you've got to be patient with your mama. Now, this is not a direct quote, but sometimes mama's busy. So I use this all the time with my littles. They're like, mom. And I'm like, sometimes you got to be patient with your mama, because sometimes she's really busy. And they'll pipe up and they're like, just like Llama Llama Red Pajama? I'm like, yes, just like Llama Llama Red Pajama. So this is a beautiful little way of being able to, communicate, especially with little kids, that they have to be patient and wait their turn. And as adults, sometimes we have a hard time with that. When someone, especially if we're not accustomed to it, and especially if we're not accustomed to somebody, saying it. So if you're the quiet one, you don't ever stand up and speak for yourself, like me, like I always used to be. When you first start doing this, it's going to shock people. Okay? So little gentle ways of just saying, okay, I will come out and help you. So in the example of you're making bread and someone comes in and they're like, hey, I need your help. By all means, find out what the problem is first. Is it something they actually need help with, or do they just want your help? They just want you to take care of it, or they just, is it something that can actually wait? Or is it an actual emergency? Okay. All right. Oh, I got bumped just a tiny little bit. All right. So, let's see if I can get that back out. All right. So, can they actually wait? By all means, if it's an actual emergency, and like you've already got your liquids in your bowl, just cover the bowl and set it in the fridge. It'll be okay and it can wait. All right? And if this is the case with you, you know, by all means, when you do come back to your bread, pull it out. Now you're going to have to let it sit on your counter for some, depending on your climate and the temperatures, it's going to take generally between 2 to 4 hours. And this depends on your location greatly. Yeah, okay. It does. So please keep that in mind. But you got to wait for it to come back up to room temperature. Okay. So wait for your dough to warm back up. All right. And then go ahead and continue adding any remaining flour you need to and continue on as normal. However, your kneading time is going to get slashed dramatically so. And your bread is going to be far more poofy, okay? The longer you let it sit there and marinate and proof, the more poofy your bread is going to be, okay? Now, you don't want to have it over raise and then fall down, which is why you put it in the fridge. For most cases, in most breads that you're making, you don't want it to do that. Okay, so now that does vary on what bread you're making, just in case, okay? Great variances in bread baking, depending on the type, okay? Belsies, Clara, please. Okay, all right, so are you being selfish, or are you not actually being selfish? Are you being selfish to those around you, or are you being selfish to yourself? All right, so I have a new definition on what being selfish is. All right, so there's two sides to every story. Selfish. Belle, let go of the table. You're bumping on my cameras and it'll be really hard to get them set up. So my daughter's in here, y'all, and she's bumping the table. I apologize. One moment. Belle, stop. Don't touch the table, please. It's shaking my cameras. Okay? Thank you. All right. So there's two definitions to being selfish. One is that you always put yourself first and you make everybody else wait every single time. Okay? That's not such a good thing. All right? Now, I will agree in that particular point that selfishness is bad. Okay? Flip side, selfish is being good to you. Okay, selfish is good. Okay, so by putting your own needs, your actual needs, and your needs are your whole health, the essentials of life, okay? So I'm talking about mental, physical, emotional, spiritual health. The things that you need for those. Now, when I talk about spiritual, I'm not talking about religions or gods or anything like that. I'm talking about the deep down inside you. The energy that literally flows through your body, okay? I'm talking about your spiritual health. Okay. So, with your whole health, if you were to paint a picture of what your whole health looks like, it'd be like doing this giant domino puzzle, essentially, okay? This great big picture. And the moment you tap one of those little domino pieces over, everything starts tumbling down. So, with whole health is simple and simplistic in beauty in its design, okay? However, the complicated layers under that are just that. They're complicated, okay? They're intense and they are deep, and You're forever going to be working on something, honey. So if you start going on a self-healing journey, please just know you're going to be there for a very long time. Years and years, and really, you're always going to have something else that has to be healed. So, you cannot show up to help those around you unless you are in complete, full health, my dears. Okay? You actually can't. All right? Now, I love you with all of my heart. I do. But you can't truly show up and be present in the moment and truly give your all, your best of what you are and what you have, unless you have first taken care of your own needs, your own health first. Okay, Belle, don't touch the table, please. Okay. So, this giant domino puzzle picture is one cohesive picture that's made up of separate, like maybe like orbs or something like that. Belle, stop. Like interconnecting circles, essentially. So you've got your mental health, you've got your physical health, you've got your emotional health and your spiritual health, and all together they make you. But they all intercross with each other, which means...
I love you all my heart. Johnny is right.
Okay, thank you.
Then, when you do it, you dive. When you do it, you get 5, 3, 5.
Oh, okay.
And then, when you do this correct, you've done it. Moon and sun.
Okay, very nice, but Belsies, Clara, you need to wait your turn now, okay?
A-O. Catchery and dime and a note. Drew a note and dime some.
Excuse me?
And he left.
Excuse me?
What?
Mommy needs to finish talking first, okay? It's Mommy's turn. Can you wait till it's your turn?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So, if you have this big picture, all the intercrossing things, knock one of those over, it's going to affect your whole health, okay? It's not going to be just your spiritual health. It's actually going to affect into your physical health. It's going to affect into your mental health. It's going to affect into your emotional health. Same thing with any one of them. It doesn't matter which one gets knocked over. Eventually, they're all going to get knocked over, okay? Which means you are then lacking the energy that you need in order to be able to show up for those that need you, for those that depend on you, okay? So, being selfish by taking care of your own needs first, ahead of your family, ahead of your children, ahead of your neighbors, ahead of your community, ahead of your, your employment and those that rely on you, taking care of your own personal needs first is actually going to make it so that you can actually better show up, better serve them. Belle, no. Behave. Put that back. You've been told you can't put it down. Put them back. All right. So, it's not being selfish in a bad way if you're taking care of yourself, my dears. All right. And this is actually one of the top problems that I see happen time and time again with my home bakers, especially my ladies out there. All right? Because you feel that as you're going down this journey of following your heart, following your dream, and, actually doing these new things that you have always wanted to do, the things that you feel that you're called to do, you feel as if you are being selfish in a bad way, because that means that you're not going to be able to make sure everybody else's laundry's washed, that everybody else's things going on at school are not taken care of. Maybe this night you're not going to have the time to help your kids with homework for, say, 5 hours. Yes, sometimes helping with homework can take 5 hours if you don't have kids, guys. Depending on how many kids you have and the subjects. Yes, homework, not so great. But instead, you're only going to have maybe 2, because you need to have that meditative moment to make your bread. You need to have that time to actually hand prep up your dinner so that you've got good nutritional food that you're putting out to your family that's free of chemicals. Maybe you need a little bit of time to just sit down and take a load off your feet for a little bit. You just need that quiet moment to just let your mind just go for a second and relax. You're going to take a little bit of time that night for you instead, because you need to. You need it. So instead of your kid sometimes wasting your time simply because they don't want to do it, so they're just going to make your life hard because they don't want to do it, but you're making them do it, they're going to have to take care of it themselves. And that's not a bad thing. George. Say hi, George. Say bye, George. No, George. All right. The kitties are no longer allowed in my office, just in case. All right. They keep getting up on my jewelry bench. They're causing problems. Yeah, I just did that. Okay. We'll take care of it later. It can wait. All right. So, my dears, when you are facing those problems of your heart is in conflict with what your family, your friends, or those that are dear to you, and it's in conflict with what they want, I want you to actually listen to your heart. And if that means being selfish, then be selfish. But you're not going to be selfish to yourself anymore. Okay? It's going to help you heal. It's going to help you transform and come in to the person that you're supposed to be, the person that you're meant to be, the person that you've always felt that you should be inside. Now, I don't mean I really wish I was like so-and-so. I mean the person you, nobody else, you are supposed to be. Because you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're unique, and you are a true diamond that deserves to just glow and sparkle in all of your wonder, with all of your beautiful shined facets and all of your flaws and beautiful inclusions of colors throughout your heart, your body, your soul, your mind. Those things need to shine, okay? And in order for them to shine, you've got to let them actually do their thing. All right, so with the lunar eclipse coming in, tonight I want you to manifest what it is in your life that would truly make a difference for you internally. I want you to be a little selfish, my friend, and look inside yourself and what would truly make a difference in your life. Maybe it's clear communication between you and your family so you can get rid of the misunderstandings. Maybe it's just better health in general for yourself and your family. Maybe it's losing some of the stress on your shoulders that's not even yours to bear. Did you know most of the stress that most people wear is not their own stress? Something to think about. And we take on the stress of those around us that we care for, and we wear it as our own. Honey, if that is you, it's time to release it. And it's okay to release their stress. Send it back to the Mother Earth to be cleansed, or send it back to the universe to be blessed. However it is, you do you, boo. Okay? Seriously. All right. So please don't be selfish to yourself. And it's okay to put your own health ahead of others. And as the lunar eclipse comes in tonight, and you manifest the life that you want to create this year, okay? Remember, as the crossing happens, okay, as this beautiful shadow moves across everything, when it comes out the other side, everything's going to realign. Everything's going to reverse. Okay? It's going to get turned around. Okay? So the crazy madness and mayhem that's been going on in your life this week, the extreme energy and the extreme roller coaster and emotions and thoughts and everything happening inside you and inside your family, inside with your animals and even at work, all of this is going to swap. And it's perfect time for you to manifest something beautiful, amazing, that could truly change your life for you. And by doing it for yourself, to bring yourself happiness, love, peace, and light in your own heart, it manifests a beautiful life, a happier life, a more peaceful life, a life of light and love for your family too. Because what you have inside attracts, that's not the right word. The energy you have inside, it radiates off you. For the lack of the right words for it right now, it radiates off you to those around you, and it affects them too. Okay, so by bettering yourself, you're actually bettering life for them. Okay, so do not let yourself be held back from following your dreams, getting active and busy in the kitchen, and using that beautiful moment of meditative just peace and beautiful wonderfulness as you're hand kneading up your breads and just making this beautiful, nourishing, amazing tasting, delicious homemade goodiness that you get to enjoy yourself and your family, your friends, whoever happens to come over also gets to enjoy in its amazingness and all the pride and comfort that you can take knowing that you were the one that made it. My dear, you're amazing. You are absolutely amazing, and I hope that you can believe that. Now, with a little warning, with all the celestial things that are happening right now, and with this new rotation and switch coming around tonight, I want you to be a little extra careful the next week or so with the decisions that you make. Be very intentional and deliberate with your decisions, okay? This is going to help with some of the other things that are also happening in the stars. And if you want to know more about that, go check it out, okay? It's just, start researching, look it up, okay? There's a ton of things happening right now. This week is intense with astrophysical, metaphysical, and all of the things, okay? Whether it's science or metaphysical, there's a ton of things happening right now, okay? All right. There's a lot of things happening, and they actually do have a way of affecting us, whether or not we believe that we are, like, spiritually guided or not, okay? Because, like, you have the actual science that goes along with it and all that, and that has direct effects on us, like how much light our eyes get, how much darkness they get, the actual gravitational pull of the moon has directly on our body. All of these things affect us, okay? So there's more than just the metaphysical that goes into it, just in case, because I get a lot of smack about that sometimes. All right, so be very careful in your decisions this week, okay? Very deliberate, intentional decisions. So if you have an offer that comes up on the table, I want you to actually read through it. I want you to actually study that thing and make sure that it really is the right thing for you. That means even reading that fine print in there, okay? Things like this, just being a little extra cautious, taking a little more time to look it over, think it over, and make sure that it is the right fit, especially for what you're trying to manifest this year, the change in your life that you want to manifest. Okay? This is going to save you some struggles and some troubles, okay? So, my dears, I love you. Have a beautiful day. And get active in the kitchen and start baking, okay? And if you've recently made some delicious homemade bread, I'd love to see a picture. Will you send one to me? Yeah? Maybe? If you haven't tried yet, make sure. Remember, you can always grab a free recipe from the link in my bio, and you can even catch a free training for it over on our YouTube channel. Just catch our latest bread baking trainings and find the right one for the recipe that you're making. All right? Yeah? Is that a deal? Yeah? Sound good? All right. So, we'll talk to you guys next time. And if you have any questions, make sure you drop them down below. Okay? Bye, my dears, and we will see you next time.